This is me now!
Heard that before.
This is me now! This is me now! This is me now!
I want to go through some numbers with you. Now, you'll see the numbers, they may be substantially larger than what you're doing, or they may be smaller. I have no idea. What I would ask you to do is, if you're kind of earlier in your career, feel free to divide every number I show you by 10. Because this problem that I'm going to point to starts sooner in your career than you realize. And it doesn't get better as you go. It gets worse. There's a saying in aviation, there's no problem that you'll notice on the ground that actually gets better in the air. As soon as you notice that you need to do something about it, I was lucky. I had a really smart manager who, after my second year, where I'd been really successful, I did close to $400,000 in my second year, came to me and made a deal with me that I almost died on when I said yes. I gave him about 75% of my book. And the following year, I almost doubled my production. And from that point forward, it was over $1 million to LOS 6, and my final year in production was $4.5 million. The cool part was that I was being fair to everybody. And unfortunately, what most FAs do as your career develops, let's say beyond your second or third year, is you want to be fair. You want to do the right thing, but you end up being unfair, first and foremost, to your clients. But even more importantly, you're being unfair to yourself. So let's take a look. This represents the assets, households, and production from a typical $1 million producer that I may coach. There are a number of folks I coach both individually and on teams. Usually the guys I work with individually or the ladies I work with individually are well in excess of $1 million. They've been in business a long time. I know some of them back from my Merrill Lynch Payne Cinderbrand days or PSB training, but it's been great to reconnect. And from a distance, the book looks great. Almost $600 million in assets, 283 households, 2.62 in T12, not bad. Average household has $2.1 million, also not bad. Average production per household, 9278. What could go wrong? Well, it's a little more than just the numbers, because what we have to look at are kind of the internal workings of this book. So we pull in a little tighter, and here's what we see. I took the average productivity in this case, 9278, and I created 3 tiers. Tier 1 is just this times 1.33. Down here is basically this times 0.67. And this is everything that falls in between. So now we're going to start to look at it from the perspective of 80-20. But it's a lot deeper than that, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So let's look at the Tier 1 stats. 320 million out of the 598. 52 households. 18% of the households representing 59.74% of the productivity. Check out the average AUM per household here versus the average AUM across the book. It's almost 3x. Look at the average production here versus the average production, also 3x. Come down a little bit more, we pick up an additional 120 million or so in assets and another 593 in production. So 64 and 52 between these two, we've got, roughly 60, 81, almost 82% of the book currently representing 40% of the households, but also giving you 82% of your production. So we drop down a little bit further, and it gets a little strange. Down here, we've got 167 households. The average AUM per household and production per household is really a fraction of what it is up here. And here's the real telling number. Down here, you've got a book that, if properly worked, would probably get closer to these numbers here. At the very least, we should be seeing 20 to 30% more. So what's going on down here? Well, I know exactly what's going on, and so do you. This represents also the sum of everything you've done up till now, plus all of those clients you opened in your earlier years that are still with you, that when you open those accounts, you promised them everything, which you had to do. And it's fine. And I'm sure you still mean well. But the real issue is we've got to look at this as a meritocracy. People in your book are paying for your time. You're running a fee-based business, I hope. They're paying for your time. There's 2 things that get your clients to stay forever. Give them the performance they need to hit their goals. And more importantly, act like you really give a shit. How do you do that? You're in touch with them constantly. Once a month, once every 6 weeks. I don't care what you talk about. It doesn't matter. But let's take a look at what's going on down here. Assuming across the entire spectrum, your paperwork, documentation, review, compliance issues, all the same. So basically, administrative consumptive time is going to be the same across your entire book. However, the question you've got to ask as we get into this is, are you able to deliver the exact same investment process, same investment advice, same education, and same value to this entire stack of households, all 283? Knowing that the vast majority of your income comes from only 40% of them, and you're attempting to take care of all of them at the same time. Well, my answer to you is stop kidding yourself. Because what's happening is, if we think of this in terms of your clients who are in these top 2 tiers, and you ask them, listen, I know you're giving me over between the stack you're in, 80% plus of my business. Is it okay with you if I only give you 20% of my time, 30%, 40% of my time? It's the inverse because you've got these responsibilities here. Now you can say to yourself, well, I don't talk to those people. My assistant does this. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It still takes away from your ability to do what hopefully you've demonstrated you could do, which is go out and hunt, because there is no better time for you folks to be out of the office and talking to people, because most FAs are sitting there basically wondering what to do. They haven't seen this market before. Everybody thought it would just continue. Hey, surprise, this is the job. This is what happens. This is going to separate people that are actually good at this from people who thought the market would just go up forever, who aren't going to be around very long. You're in your career right now, and you're doing well. Put the pedal to the metal and accelerate. If you're in your 40s, maybe your 50s, find some senior folks who are looking to come out in the next few years. Do something that forces change. Most importantly, with an FA like this that's sitting with all of these down here, first and foremost, what he's doing is he's working with another FA and just going through and reprofiling, recasting the planning statistics, and really bringing these people into the fold, where he is sprinkling accounts situationally, trying out some younger advisors. Whoever does the best gets more. You can kick this number up down here substantially. A 0.29% turnover basically means nobody's paying attention. So, first thing you have to resolve are whatever number of households you have in Tier 1 and Tier 2 getting 82% of your time, because that's what they're paying for. Are those 116 households all measuring your performance by the same standard? If you don't have a solid expectation of performance by which your clients can judge you over every time period that aligns with their goals, you're being judged subjectively, and I don't think you deserve to keep the account. I built my book on people that didn't know why they owned what they owned. If your clients run into somebody like me or someone I trained, and they start asking those questions, you're going to have a problem. Assuming you're no longer responsible for these Tier 3 households at the bottom, assume in your book for a moment, imagine if you were only responsible for the most productive clients in your account, that's all you had. I think you'd allocate more time to that. I think you'd find other ways to demonstrate how much you care about them, especially now when people are scared. And I don't have to explain to you what will happen. You can probably figure it out on your own after you start to pay more attention to the people that want to have the feeling they are the only client that you have. Following a single client theory, what it basically also means is you're following a single investment process. You're not going to make your clients more or less money if you like to be the portfolio manager. Hire out. If somebody screws up, get rid of them. Get rid of them. You're at the perfect time to basically realign your efforts with people who are actually paying you for it. And at this point, in where we are with the cycle, I don't think you can be in touch with your best clients too much. That's my opinion. You may disagree. You have every right to do so. Thanks for listening.